Everybody, we're live once again, episode 8 of the Vonage Hacktoberfest daily stream. It's my first time today, and I'm very excited to be here. I'm going to be here today, next Monday, and the following Monday to do this show. And yeah, it's been great to check out what's been happening on this over the past week. So I'm coming to you live from Slovakia today. The Vonage team is, of course, very global, and I'm based here in the city of Košice, which is in the east of Slovakia. Currently 6 p.m. It's gone dark. The day is almost at an end, so I thought, why not jump on and do a little streaming, talk about some pull requests, talk about some stuff that might be useful for people who are jumping into this for the first time, show off some of the other resources, talk about some of the content, go over a bunch of different things, highlight some of the pull requests that we've seen over the past couple of days, some of the interesting stuff. And yeah, I've got the chat open here. I've got the Discord open as well. For those people that are in the Discord, then I can see you. But obviously, if you want to jump over to Twitch and ask your questions there, then you can also do that as well. So yeah, very, very pleased to be here. And yeah, I thought we've kind of covered off a lot of the overview of Hacktoberfest on a lot of these streams, but very aware that there's probably new people watching every day. So if this is the first time, hi, welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you spending the next half an hour with me and coming and learning a little bit more about what Hacktoberfest is. So if you haven't seen up to this point, we have got ourselves an entire website dedicated to Hacktoberfest, which is a great place for resources and a really good jumping off point for what it is that we are doing. So if you head over to developer.nexmo.com/Hacktoberfest, you'll find that. And one of the things that has actually changed, I think, in the last week or so when I've been on holiday, is that there is a great list of example projects and some of the things that you can jump into if you're looking for good first issues, if you're looking for something to pick up and work on. There's some great examples here now, and some ideas as to how you might want to approach the work that you do on any of those. But I think that one of the things that coming back after a few days away was that I saw just how passionate everyone has become about getting a pair of these socks. I point to these here socks. They have blown up, especially in the Discord. I've seen over the past couple of days, and I can see why. They're actually pretty good. The colors are good. Some strong colorway that goes on there as well. If you are looking to get yourself some of these, then your valid contributions to repositories can help you to do this. But socks are great. Socks are cool and all. But over a period of time, unless you're going to frame them and just put them on the wall, as like, this is what I achieved, and look at them all the time and be like, my contributions to open source got me this pair of socks. Over a period of time, they're gonna be a bit smelly. You're gonna have to continuously wash them, and that's important. But one of the things you may also want to consider is that open collective credit that we're also offering as well. $5 is available of open collective credit that you can use to donate to your favorite open source projects and support the maintainers of those. Now, if you haven't come across Open Collective before, then it's definitely worth checking out during Hacktoberfest, of course, but really like at any time, because it's really a great place to go and learn more about how the teams behind some of the popular and brand new open source projects are spending the money that people are giving them. It's completely transparent. You can go on there and donate as much as you like on there. I previously worked at a company where we spent some time talking to the entire engineering team about all of the different open source projects that we were using to build the company that we were making a bunch of money from and raising a bunch of investment from, because we realized that actually without those maintainers and without that, we wouldn't necessarily be in a situation to do it in the first place. So we should probably be supporting more. So we made a list of all of those projects and decided that we were going to give a sizable chunk of money every month to the maintainers of those projects. And I think it ended up being something along the lines of like 50 to 60,000 euro a year that we were going to do across something like 20 or so different projects. And it was a great thing to be able to do. Open Collective helped us to manage and maintain that. If we were going to do it ourselves, it was going to be kind of unwieldy, and we would have to figure out how we'd get all of these individual payments to people. Well, we didn't have to, because Open Collective helps us to sort that out. So we're offering a $5 credit as part of one of the things that you can claim when you do your valid pull requests as part of Hacktoberfest this year. So you may want to consider that. I know that socks are dope, but if you want to also give back a little more to the wider open source community, then that's one of the ways that you can do it. If you decide that you're still going to go down the socks route, it's fine. I don't judge you. You can continue to do that, and maybe just consider going to Open Collective and looking at some of the projects that you're using, that you appreciate, that you like, and maybe giving them a little bit of money, because you can see just how far that goes in supporting the maintainers to just continue to do what they do. Which is fantastic. I'm noticing in the chat that socks are particularly popular, and we have a comment there that says nothing is more than socks, and I would agree. I've been a big fan of socks for quite a long time. I've got more happy socks than I would care to mention, but the Vonage socks, they are they life? We'll find out. Once you start getting them, do let us know if they are, in fact, changing your everyday. Certainly, they're going to change your foot swag, that's for sure. But if socks are indeed life, then let us know in the chat. One of the biggest questions that we have as developer advocates at a company like Vonage, or any company, in fact, is what kind of swag do you give people? And over the years, socks have been very, very popular at a bunch of different companies that I've worked at. But I've noticed this one comment here, which is kind of actually true, is that hoodies are greater than socks. I would agree. I have several hoodies from several companies of varying quality and warmth. But I think in this case, the socks, they're gonna win out, because let's just take a quick look back at those socks for a minute. If you had that whole design on a hoodie, that's going to feel real busy. But this is definitely the right kind of design to have on your feet, I think. In the chat, you have to work at Vonage to get the hoodie. Well, yes, in this case you do. But Vonage is hiring, so that could be you if you want. Go and check out the careers page and see if there's a job there, and if you get that job, then maybe you can get the hoodie as well, and then you can combine it with the socks, and then you're really rolling from that point. All right, so one of the other things that I wanted to go over and just show you today is some of the content that's been produced over the past few days that's really good to take a look at if you want to find a place to kind of jump off, especially if this is the first time that you're doing Hacktoberfest, or really jumping into working with any kind of open source projects at all. figuring out like how best to contribute, what kinds of things you can do, how you might be, use, Git and GitHub. And if you're not familiar with command line, how you can do that, on the desktop as well. We've put together a big list of content that we're going to be putting out over the course of this whole month. And we've got 3 of these pieces out, 4 actually. One of them is just about the fact that we're doing this. These 3 at the top here are the ones that you want to consider. And this one here came out towards the end of last week. It's written by Luke, who many of you are familiar with at this point, especially in the Discord. I see that he's become quite the celebrity over the past week. And although he did just tell everybody that I'm actually his manager, but don't let that sway your opinion of me or him. This is the post that Luke put out, about how to consider what you might actually do, how you can contribute to open source, what's valuable, what kinds of stuff is absolutely valid in terms of how you might approach this. Because it can be pretty intimidating if you land on a bunch of repositories and you look through all of the different tags on the different repos and go, okay, well, you get buried under the good first issue and you're just like, what kinds of stuff should I do? This is a great post to check out. It's on the blog right now. You can go and read it. It's really well thought out in terms of like how you might want to do this, because so many people look at doing something like this and making a pull request on a repository and thinking that it necessarily just needs to be all about code. It doesn't at all. Obviously, that's great. And if you are going to jump in and do that, feel free, please do. But if you are looking to kind of ease your way in to doing this, then there's some really good options here that will work well. And it's nice to see like some of this stuff be considered as well, and actually not necessarily have every single thing be just about the code, because ultimately the repository is a whole thing, right? And there's a bunch of different stuff that goes into making it good, and there's a lot of things that you can do that go into making it better, and some of that stuff is right here. That's one of them. The other one I think is also really important as well, from Garen, on using GitHub Desktop. Again, for a lot of people, working with Git is new, and if you jump straight into working with Git on the command line, it can also be pretty intimidating, and it can be kind of a lot as well. So it's fine to go in and just use the desktop app as well, and in many cases it will keep your eye on what it is you're actually doing in a much better way than on the command line. Obviously, it is your choice, but if you've never touched it before, and maybe even if you are using the command line right now and you've never touched this before, this is a great introduction to this as well. So well worth taking a look at. And one of the things that I also want to do is just mention some of the stuff that we've got coming up as well in terms of Hacktoberfest related content that could be really useful. A lot of what we've done up to this point has been focused on like the people who are coming in and doing this for the first time and maybe relatively new to it. That's cool. But we've also got some stuff coming up for maintainers as well. So there's a guide for maintainers coming out on Friday, I think, which will be super useful, pulled together from a bunch of really good knowledge from within the team about how to manage repositories and also how to deal with incoming open source requests and pull requests that are going to be in there as well. Even if you are making pull requests, it's probably worth taking a look at, because it's always good to maybe have the maintainers in mind as well in terms of what you put in them, the kind of language that you use, the approach that you take to it, and there's a bunch of different considerations in there. So that's going to be coming out on Friday, and it's definitely well worth a look too. Right, what else do I have? I'm just going to check out the chat, hoping to qualify for socks here soon. Yeah, absolutely. promote Luke, we'll consider it. Oh yeah, and actually Luke has mentioned in there, there's one of the things that I think is also well worth mentioning. This is a great point. Trees are greater than all swag. You can obviously opt to just plant a tree once you've got your valid pull requests in, rather than socks, rather than that credit. You can plant a tree. And I think that would be really nice if you did that too. Socks come and go. Trees can last for a long time. Skywolf is good. It's all about socks. All right, fine. Speaking of Skywolf, Skywolf already planted 5 trees in their neighborhood. Okay, well then, probably socks then for you. People planting trees to compensate for swag. All right, fair enough. I mean, if you're going to go for the socks, if you also plant a tree yourself, that's valid. That's totally fine. So I wanted to highlight one of the pull requests that we got from Skywolf over the past couple of days. But I probably should give some background to it first. Would that be useful? Okay, I'll do that. I've just shown you on the screen right now, there's a bunch of blog posts. And right now, we use WordPress for this. Over the course of this year, we have been working on moving away from using that to something that better suits how we write the content here at Vonage, how we create the code for it, how we basically pull all of this stuff together. We've spent a lot of time working on like a whole workflow that's based off of Git that allows us to review the stuff that comes through, so we make sure that it's as good as it can be by the time it goes out into the world. And WordPress just wasn't cutting it for us anymore. So Super Luke off of Vonage had taken this on and has built out a new platform for us to do this. It is out there in the world on GitHub right now. It hasn't been launched yet, but it's also not a secret. And one of the things that people can do is go and address some of the issues that are highlighted in there. And Skywolf has done one or two of those that I've got highlighted here anyway. But I wanted to go through this one particularly because this is like super simple. It's really great because this is one of the things that I really like to see that appear when you're actually looking around at stuff. Now, for me, when I was first learning HTML and programming back in the 90s, looking at the code that was underlying like web pages, like viewing the source was one of the things that I spent a lot of time doing. And it was always really cool if you open that up and there was some kind of Easter egg in there, like some kind of like ASCII art or some kind of joke or anything else. Like it was all good. But one of the things that actually started happening more and more over the past few years is that people are like, if you're looking at this, then maybe you are, also the kind of person that would consider coming and working here as well. And this was something that we wanted to have in here. It was opened up as an issue, and Skywolf picked it up and added it in, and it got merged in a few days ago. But I only saw it today. And the nice thing about it is that I saw it and immediately made me laugh because I didn't know that was even an issue on the repo, or that it was even going to be a thing. Maybe it would have been nicer had I actually found it once everything had been deployed, but I know that it's going to be there now, which was great. So Skywolf, thank you for adding that in. Skywolf in the chat says that they actually made it so that it's displayed as the language selected on the page. So it's internationalized as well, meaning that if you select a different language from the dropdown, then it will display the message in that particular language as well. That's really cool. Okay, that's in the latest PR that hasn't been merged yet. All right, so there's this one, and there is now a build on the other one as well. So that's great. It's awesome to see that kind of stuff. Okay, this is a different one as well. So we've been getting a lot of help from Skywolf over the last couple of days, and we very much appreciate it. Right, where are we? I wanted to highlight another issue that my good colleague Ben Greenberg asked me to mention. I've been picking up a few of the Ruby-based PRs that have been coming through, and a lot of those are coming in because Ben's gone around and looked at like various different demos that he's built, and, obviously the Vonage Ruby SDK, and dropped good first issues or Hacktoberfest tags onto them, and he wanted me to highlight this one right here. So if you are a Ruby person, there are some of you out there, and you're looking for something to do, this is one of the ones that you may want to consider. It's on the main Ruby SDK for Vonage, and as Ben says, the Vonage Ruby SDK has begun incorporating sorbet to statically type the code, and you can contribute to it during Hacktoberfest. We're looking for pull requests that continue the incremental adoption of sorbet in the codebase in a thoughtful and meaningful way. How do you balance methods that take in a variety of optional parameters? How do you manage sorbet adoption in its existing code the way it is currently structured? Adoption without doing major code surgery to the code base. So the nice thing about this is that there's already examples of how Ben has done this, like inside of the code base, but it's not fully covered across the whole SDK. So even though if you listen to what I just said and what he wrote, you'd be like, I don't understand. That's fine, because actually there's some really great examples in there that you could take a look at already and apply the same patterns if you wanted to. So the SDKs that we have, they're all available for pull requests, of course, during the course of Hacktoberfest. And this is one of the ones that I wanted to highlight today. So if you want to go pick this up, it is available. You can find it by searching Hacktoberfest across the Vonage repository, and go have a look at it, see if it's something that you want to do. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat now. Yeah, there are a couple of other issues that are available. As soon as we talked about Ruby, we can talk about the Node one as well, because there are some other issues, I think, in there that have been highlighted as well. Yeah. And yeah, in the chat, this was highlighted. Some good, easy issues on the Node.js SDK. Kelly did a good job. Kelly did do a good job. He's also gone in and added a couple of tags in here that are handy for stuff as well. So there's a bunch of different issues available. You can pick some of them up if you want to, but let's take a look at this good first issue. See where this is at. Okay. Want to allow for a full URL or domain to be used as the API host or REST host? Yes. Okay. How it works now, and possible solutions as well. So there's even hints in there as well. That's great. Being able to take a look at how some of this is done elsewhere inside of the SDK and how it might want to be done in there as well. That is a good first issue. Not necessarily huge, but something that at least needs a little bit of thinking to get it done, which is perfect because there's a really great way to get started, and especially if JavaScript is your thing and you've worked with Node a little bit, this is a good one to dig into. Speaking of the SDKs, they have all recently been rebranded from what they were, which was Nexmo, to be Vonage, and because of that, there's also a bunch of demos that we have built over the course of however many years that are available inside of our community repository. And this is a good place to go take a look at stuff too, because one of the things that you could consider doing is going and finding one of the demos. This one was one that I worked on recently. Somebody did do this, and so there was one PR for this that I already merged that was updating this demo to use the new Vonage Ruby SDK. So you can go in and you can find a couple of these and consider, okay, well, this is using the old Nexmo SDK. Probably want to do a merge over to the new one. So you can go in and do the replacement in there if you want to. One of the things that I discovered whilst I was working on this one was that there's also another dependency on the Google Cloud Speech SDK that needs to be changed as well. Google Cloud Speech, when this was first built, was on kind of like a pre 1.0 release, and this one needed to be changed because there was a lot of syntax change that they introduced. There was basically breaking changes that Google introduced when they moved it from what it was before to like the 1.0 version of it. So I set this up real quick as an extra issue on this repo, and it got picked up a few days ago, and it's there ready for review. And how far did it get? Okay, it's ready for review. So that'll be one of the next ones that I pick up. And if you're looking for stuff to have a look at, you can go through into the Nexmo community repo and look at some of the demos that we've built and see if any of them require being moved over to the newly rebranded SDKs, and see if there's anything in there that also needs to be fixed. Pretty much all of them will need something doing to them, I think. And it's a good place to go spend some time because there's some really fun demos in there as well. So if you're also considering, like, I could work on something, but what maybe might give me a little bit more exposure to the world of Vonage APIs, well, this is the place to look. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Does everyone at Vonage use Mac OS? Not necessarily, but a lot of people. And I'm one of them. So I don't know, is that bad? Is it a bad thing? I use other stuff too, if it's okay. Oh yeah, you know what? Actually, one of the things that is also worth taking a look at here as well is if you are jumping in for the first time and you haven't joined us up to this point, then as well as the content and everything else that I've talked about up to this point, we have done 7 of these daily streams up to this point, and not all of them are just people talking about different issues and that. Some of them are going through a bunch of different stuff that would be really useful for people whilst they're working on stuff throughout their Hacktoberfest journey this month of October. So you can take a look at them. They are all archived right now on Twitch. And oh, I can hear myself. Let me mute this. So they're all archived, and you can also check them out on YouTube too, if there's any there that you miss. But as well as all these daily streams, we're also doing all of our normal streaming stuff as well. So we've already done one big stream today, Week.init, which is our client SDK team, talking through some of the stuff that they can do with web components and video, and more of the real-time stuff that we have available as part of the APIs that we've got. And one of the highlights that you probably do want to take a look at, if you haven't already, is to go back to Friday's episode 7 daily stream with Paul, who spent some time talking about how to make a cold cup of tea. I'm not even kidding. That's actually what he talked about in there as well. But it's solid advice, and he put together a whole bunch of really good props and bought some really fancy tea to do it. So if you want to dig in a little bit more on not only everything Hacktoberfest, but also making a cold cup of tea, then Paul's stream from Friday is one to check out. And people were there. I mean, in years to come, not just the socks, right? But people will remember where they were when Paul did that. Right? Legendary moments are happening on a daily basis on these streams. Whether today's stream is one of them, I'm not sure, but I've got a bunch of other opportunities to come up with something legendary, for myself. So I will be, and hang tight for that. So I think we're kind of almost at the time that we had allocated for today. So I think that I'm just going to check out, see what's happening in the Discord real quick, and in the chat here as well. Here you go. This is all I need. This is what I needed to finish with today. I can see myself applying to Vonage. Well, I encourage you to do it, and I wish you the best of luck with that as well. Cool. We're going to call it a day there. This Monday stream is now done, but don't worry, don't cry. We're going to have streams every single day. And if you feel like you want to fill some time now and just, take a little moment, drink a cold tea, chill out for a little bit, there's a bunch of other streams that you can go and check out from our wonderful colleagues as well. So look, thank you everybody for joining today. Really appreciate it. Thank you for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow with another daily stream, and I will be back on the daily stream next Monday. So thanks for being a part of it. I appreciate you hanging out and spending some time. Wish you the best of luck with your Hacktoberfest journeys, and of course with the rest of your day, however much is left of it. Some of you have plenty, some of you maybe it's already tomorrow, and if it is, have a great day. All right, that's it for me. Thanks very much, everybody.